Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Jason Show. But this time it's The Jason Show Home Edition. I'm Jace, and welcome to my house. Actually, welcome to my podcast studio. This is where I do a lot of radio work and podcast work, and this is where I put all my nerd stuff. You'll see it as the weeks go on, like Star Wars, there's Mickey behind me, a little on-air light from my best friend Jen. Well, I couldn't be more excited to be here. I have missed you guys so much, and like a lot of you, my hair is so long I look like Rapunzel. No, I'm just joking. Mermaid hasn't come. But this is actually, in 23 years of television, this is the first time I've ever worn a hat. And I decided to do it because, you know what? We should all be at a Twins game this month. The home opener was supposed to be last week. So I decided to represent the Twins because you guys know it's the only sport I like. So way to go, Twins. Well, I have missed you. I'm so glad that we are back, even in this capacity. We're going to have new shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the reason, we've been on hiatus is because the truth of the matter is our home station, Fox 9, had to understandably put all of the resources, our staff, into the news product, into Fox 9 News. Because look, our show, though fun and important, you can put our show on the shelf and it'll be there, and you can pull it back out whenever. We really, the station needed to put all the resources into our news crews, and we understand that. So I have appreciated all of you that have supported our show online, watched our Facebook live shows, watched our reruns. I greatly appreciate it. And to all of you that have supported my colleagues at Fox 9, I thank you as well. Because I have said this on Facebook, I've said this online, I said this on Twitter, but I'm going to say it again. Of my colleagues, I've been proud to work in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Actually, you guys know I'm from Indiana. I'm from the Chicago area. When I moved here 23 years ago, it was because a college professor said to me in 1994, well, if you want a good TV market, move to Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a great TV market. Well, let me tell you, if this crisis has shown me anything, and it has shown me a lot, and I'll talk about that a little bit later or as the weeks go on, it has reminded me, not taught me, has reminded me that we are blessed with some great journalists here in the Twin Cities. And I know it's fashionable at times to criticize and bash the media, but I will tell you right now, I feel nothing but pride for my colleagues who are putting themselves in harm's way to give you information, to give you facts. I won't start listing everybody, but I'm incredibly proud to say that I work at Fox 9. So thanks to all of you that have shown support to journalists. I really think that leads me to kind of my overall thoughts that I've been having. Like a lot of you, I'm sure you go up and down. Some days you think you get a little down, and some days you maybe think a little more positively. On the days where I'm feeling positive, it is because I really firmly believe that we are going to come on the other side of this crisis with a better sense of compassion for each other. I think we're going to come out of this appreciating things more, not taking things for granted. I mean, let me tell you, when I see commercials now, when I see commercials with gatherings at like a bar or restaurant, it's wistful. I look at it and I go, oh, remember when we could eat chicken wings with other people? And we didn't have to be scared. I look at photos of my own adventures at Disney World and I think, wow, that wasn't that long ago. But it makes me, it's a reality check, not to steal a line from my buddy Pat Kessler, but it really is a reality check that I know for myself I'm going to keep in check. I'm going to pull it out of the card catalog of my mind and say, I'm going to appreciate the small stuff. Just the act of getting together with friends, I'm never going to take that for granted. Going to a mall, walking outside without going like this if someone comes too close. I'm never going to take any of that stuff for granted. That feeling of learning that this is one of the things we were meant to learn from all of this. That's what keeps me going in those positive moments. Of course, though, I've had down moments. I go up and I go down. And some days the news, because I read a lot, you think this is a goofy show, and it is on purpose, but I ingest a lot of information for this show and the radio show, and I'm just naturally nosy and curious. I have to sometimes step away from it because I get down when I see the numbers. And then when I see just crazy stuff online, just being honest, when I see crazy stuff online, threats to doctors and not wrapping your mind around facts and believing in crazy conspiracy theories, that just breaks my heart and it gets me down. But I don't allow myself to do that very often. I swim in that pool for a couple minutes, and then I watch an episode of Dallas, and then I'm fine. Yeah, Dallas, believe me. Speaking of the lighter side, through the next couple weeks on the show, I'm going to be sharing. I haven't been with you live in a month, so I have a lot to tell you. I'm obsessed with a whole new trunk of things. One of them is Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch. I'll be talking to you about that. Another, what everybody is obsessed with, Tiger King on Netflix. I have thoughts about that. I've watched so many movies, so many TV shows, but I got to tell you, I'll just start with this. I'll end with this and put a bow on this particular conversation. And I'll bring this up again. I'll name it a best thing ever. Do you know what has given me comfort? When I talk about the good times or when I start to get depressed, both when I'm feeling good or when I'm feeling down. Do you know what I've been watching right before I go to bed? The Golden Girls. Yeah, the whole series is on Hulu, and I got to tell you, it just takes me back, and that show just gives me comfort. So maybe The Golden Girls isn't that nice comfort for you, that nice little warm blanket, but maybe it's just an old show that reminds you of a really good time in your life, or maybe a great old movie like Romancing the Stone, or going back even farther, maybe it's The Wizard of Oz. But I encourage you to find those little blankets, those little comfortable blankets to wrap yourself up in. And I hope this show is one of those comfort items for you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I have not only missed you, but I have missed my Jason Show family. Erin Schwab, Jeff, Ted, Stephanie Hansen. You're going to meet them all, see them all when we come back. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the very first Jason Show at Home edition. I'm Jace. Again, welcome to my home here in the North Loop of Minneapolis. Well, she is a dear friend of ours. Yes, she is. I call her the Bette Midler of the Twin Cities. She's also a member of the Jason Show family. If you've ever visited us in our studios in Eden Prairie, you know her. You know her. She tells you to laugh like Janice from Friends and Fran Drescher in The Nanny. That's one of my favorite things. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you watching, please welcome our dear friend, the one and only Erin Schwab, everybody. Good morning, Erin.
Hi.
How
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am terrific.
How is, let's just start with the first question. How's quarantining going?
Quarantining is going okay here in this house, for sure. It's a long time. I think that the meme that was going around for a while that said, hey, introverts, check on your extrovert friends. They're not doing okay. I think that suits me pretty well. I'm usually surrounded by a lot of people. So I'm just constantly trying to manage and entertain my husband and daughter, which I don't know if they love. I'm not sure,
I am
getting
loving,
a lot done.
First of all, I have to compliment you. People have been making fun of me because I have the ring lights. I have a whole setup here. But you, my dear friend, that is, if I do say so, that is some fabulous lighting that you have going on. And you even have a green screen. What is that all about?
I do. Well, I have a 15-year-old. And for Christmas this year, she just wanted things to help make her, she wanted to make better YouTube and TikTok videos. So she got a ring light and a green screen just behind me. So if we wanted to make it look like you could, if you wanted to, just fill it in so it looks like I'm quarantining various places if you'd like to.
Well, photographer Eric will get his hands on this. Lord knows what he will put behind you by the time this hits air. You know him.
I am up for all of the things. He can put me anywhere he wants to.
Exactly. He's by the way, we're going to be catching up with him in a future episode. I need you to get this visual, Erin. All I'm going to tell you is his wife has put him in the basement.
He's in the basement?
He's been quarantined. He keeps calling himself the subterranean editor. Tanya has put him in the basement.
I feel like I would understand I understand that.
Yeah.
I just, I adore him. You know what they make if you follow Eric or his wife on Facebook? Their videos that they put out on Facebook with their family are
amazing.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All of the quarantini videos are very funny.
I provided a track. He asked me, I tracked one as like an HGTV host. It's about their makeshift bathroom. It was, anyway. Now, the last 2 weeks, a lot of performers, Erin, I call you the Bette Midler of the Twin Cities, and you are in contact, you are dear friends, you are a part of the theater community. And obviously, we're thinking of people in every sector and any type of employment, grocery store workers, and of course, the people on the front lines, the folks in healthcare. But also, obviously I'm concerned about, because it touches me, the restaurant community. You are impacted and touched by the theater community. What are you hearing, Erin? How are folks doing now that shows are shut down? What are you hearing?
I think it's twofold. I think one thing is it's really discouraging and it's a little bit frightening, to be honest, because things are canceled. And now not only are they canceling the things that were just coming up, but the Guthrie canceled their entire summer. And so there are a lot of people whose livelihoods depended on being a part of a show in a live venue, whether they be large, really well-funded venues to the small, really independent, or the educational theater venues. I have a show that I'm supposed to be directing this summer at Stepping Stone. And so what we've tried to do is we've really tried to keep, because it's with kids, we've tried to keep some of that on track for them since their lives were canceled, and it's hard for them. It's really hard. Like all of their fun spring, all of their awesome stuff that they were supposed to be doing and shows they were supposed to be doing are all canceled, you know? So we want to try to keep figuring out how we can do that and evolving. And I think that's the other thing about the theater community that I'm seeing and hearing is people are evolving and they're finding new and innovative ways to entertain. I had actually talked to Rowan Preston, and he was talking to me about, he did an interview with me about how, like what I was doing and how things were going. And I was talking to him a lot about how I just kept trying to rethink and reinvent and innovate the ways that I teach, the ways that I entertain, whether it be musically, because not only am I in the industry of theater, but I'm also in the industry of restaurants because that's where I perform. A lot. And also, so all of those different aspects of things, and television with a live audience, so everything that I do basically just came to a screeching halt. But the good thing is, as artists, we can also be innovators, and we are creators, and we have vision. And so hopefully what happens is we can continue to create, and figure out how to do that. But I was talking to Rohan and I said, but at least you can still be doing interviewing and stuff like that. So that's good. And he was like, yeah, but I'm a theater reviewer. So there's no shows for me to review because we can't put people together in a room. So I think there's just a lot of like
innovation,
us recognizing what everyone does and the importance of what everyone does to make an entertaining experience happen. And so I think that's...
Speaking of innovation, I want you, in our remaining minutes here, you, Miss Thing, have been very innovative. You and Jay, frequent guests on our show. Tell everyone what you've done and what you're doing again, I think, this weekend? Or actually, by the time this airs. But tell folks what you're doing.
Okay. Jay and I decided that we would try to do our cabaret show that we would normally do at Birch's in Lower Town. but do it from his living room. So we were doing a live Facebook Live an interactive Facebook Live cabaret show, like we would do at the bar. And it's been so fun. It's been a ball. It's been a blast. Once they did the stay-at-home order, we decided this last week not to do it because I didn't want to go to Jay's house, and we had to kind of figure out some things like that because we want to be respectful and follow the rules, as it were. But we're going to try to figure ourselves out for this Friday if we can. So it's possible that we will be able to do it from outside because we can, be 6 feet apart from each other in the outdoors.
Yes.
So we'll see if we can figure that out. We've had so much fun, and we had people tuning in from literally like all over the world. Like we had people watching from New Zealand and from London and from all of these crazy places, and then all over the United States. So it was really, the first one we did had over 500 people watching on Facebook, and then we also Instagram live to the first one.
I was one of them. I was one of them.
I know you were. And thank you for telling us to move our live tip jar Venmo over because we had to know.
I'm all about the production. I was like, okay, the sign is being blocked. People will be able to tip Erin on the Venmo. I want people to be able to tip her. Yeah, I sent Erin. I sent Erin a text. I'm like, girl, I know you're singing. I know you're doing your Bette Midler, but I need you to move that sign if you want people to give you money. Yeah.
So we tried really hard to kind of keep it the same way it was, and I think people were really appreciating it. And truthfully, it really fueled me and it fueled Jay. We have had a gig almost every Friday together for 20 years. And so to have this be, unless one of us was like so sick we couldn't show up or there was something else going on, like we have worked together every Friday for over 20 years.
And
so
it continues.
Had to keep figuring it out. Yeah.
If you want, follow Erin on Facebook if you want an update on when exactly the virtual cabarets will happen. And as they say in restaurants, tip them well, girl. Tip them well. So, okay, Erin, we'll be checking back in with you soon. Adios,
Thanks
my
for
love.
Talking to me.
Tell Sophie, great lighting on that.
I'll keep it all there.
Exactly. Bye, sweetheart.
Thanks, Jason.
Coming up in just a little bit, more friends, more fun. Stephanie Hansen's coming back. The Jason Show at Home Edition will continue right after this. Welcome back, everyone. In normal time, I think a lot have come to our show for an hour of positivity. And boy, I don't mean to sound like a kid from the 50s. Boy, oh boy, don't we need some positivity right about now. So we're going to make even a stronger effort in the weeks ahead to do a whole segment. This will be one of them, where a whole segment of just good news, just positive stuff. And I'll have a collection of them every day. And I'm going to start with this because it's close to my heart. A new survey found, where is it? 59% of Americans are doing something to help local businesses. Isn't that great? 59%. I know for myself, Hansen talks about this with local restaurants. I know for my family, what we can do is support local restaurants. I'm blessed. I live in a neighborhood filled with a lot of local restaurants. Spoon and Stable, Nolo, Monte Carlo, The Free House, Smack Shack. So at least once a week, it's more like twice a week, we order takeout to support these local restaurants. There are other ways too. You can buy products from local boutiques, those that offer online selling of their catalog. You can investigate and order products. I know that I only buy, now I try to buy a lot of products just from Minnesota companies, whether it's food or dog food or clothing. I try to give my business to Minnesota companies. Another great, speaking of people giving back, another positive news headline. There is a gamer, I believe, want to get this right, where is it? Sean in Ireland. He organized an online gaming fundraiser. Now, I'm a little bit of a gamer. Hello, Animal Crossing. Not a big gamer, but he organized this online gaming fundraiser that ended up raising, are you ready for this? $695,000 $695,000 for, I want to make sure I get the charity right, for for 3 coronavirus charities. How great is that? I love to see people giving back. And one more, let's see here. Oh, that's right. There's a bar in Georgia. There's a bar actually here that does it, that has dollar bills all over the walls. Cuzzies is here in Minneapolis that does it. But there is a bar, this one's in Georgia, called the Sandbar. And what they did was they ended up taking all the dollar bills off the walls that have been there for decades, and it equaled about $4,000. That equaled $600 for each employee. Is that a lot? No. But that's a lot if you are trying to get unemployment and can't. That is a lot if you can't pay your rent. I know when I moved here, $600, I would have bawled. I mean, that would have paid my rent for my studio apartment. So that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money, and that's a good owner right there. If you have positive stories that you see that you would like me to highlight, go ahead and send them to the show via our Facebook page. All you have to do is search for The Jason Show on Facebook and hit that like button. Speaking of like, you're going to like what we have when the show continues right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Jason Show Home Edition, our first new show in a little while. And our next guests, if we Brady Bunch it, are very familiar to all of you. Please welcome Jeff and Ted. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Or as the master of ceremonies on Hollywood Squares used to say, hello, stars. Hello.
Who is the master of ceremonies?
Oh, Peter Marshall. Remember, Jeff?
Oh, see, I'm more John Davidson. Remember him from the 80s?
Okay, I'll take John Davidson, or I'll take Peter Marshall. Right about now, Ted is already clueless of what we're talking about.
I have a question for Ted. Ted, do you know who Waylon Flowers and Madam are?
No.
Jason?
Yes, I know who Madam is. And when photographer Eric edits this, if he's any good, he'll put up a picture of Madam right about now. Anyway, how are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Okay. This is gonna be a 6-minute segment. I need more than good, you goobers. Anyway, no,
it's weird. Okay, do you think it's weird? Like, I'm watching a lot of TV, and when I see people like touching and being close to each other, I'm like, wait. Get away. Get away.
I got to tell you, yeah, I didn't know we were going to start there, but let's start there because you're right. I was just watching, I forgot what movie it was, but it was a movie with a crowd scene. And I went like this. I'm like, oh, they're touching a lot. They are touching a lot. I think that's going to be kind of like our new normal for a while.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching something on TV today, and there were 2 people on the camera at the same time, and I was like, no! Get away!
Separate!
What does this mean for The Bachelor, Ted? I mean, they can't really make out on camera.
Virtual makeouts? I don't know. Go on a Zoom date? They should go on Zoom dates.
Kind of like we're on one right now.
Yeah.
I actually think this will be good. There'll be actually less diseases on Bachelor in Paradise now. Yeah. So, Anyway, well, I think, it's been a while unless folks have watched our Facebook Live shows that we've been doing. It's been a while since they have seen either of you or heard from you. Ted, I'll start with you. Your kind of new normal is, with our show being on a little bit of a hiatus, you are stepping back into your kind of your old world, right?
Stepping back into the news world, and so I'm helping out with the morning news where so all the producers are basically at home. Jeff has not left his house for a month and a half, so they're all gone, and so they're producing their shows from their house, and then I'm in the booth where you usually see me in the booth, kind of directing traffic, communicating with the anchors, all the people out at their various homes, dialing up the Skypes, and making sure the show runs on time.
Jeff, and you're doing this remotely, as Ted said, from home, in this new age of local news, which a lot of people are tuning into, thank goodness, and I'm I've been celebrating our crew for a month now. What's the new reality? So, like, what's the biggest challenge for you as the executive producer doing this?
I think it's just not being able to be with everyone at the same time. I mean, you kind of have to talk to people individually at all different throughout the morning. So it's not, you can't just, say, hey, let's have a quick meeting and talk about the show. You have to do a Zoom call with everyone. You have to talk to each person individually instead of as a group. But we have a great crew, and everyone's doing a great job.
Personally, we have about in our remaining minutes. Personally, how are you both doing? Is it ups and downs? Ted, I'll start with you. How you doing? I mean, how are you dealing with stay-at-home Minnesota?
Well, so a lot of people are dealing with kind of the isolation and stuff, and I talk to so many people on a daily basis that I come home and I'm exhausted. I don't even want to go anywhere. So, it's exhausting, but that's sort of the way it is. And this week is sort of, last week I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. This week, we're all good.
Jeff, how about you?
I mean, I feel like we have such a weird schedule anyway that, I'm not used to seeing a ton of people during the week. So it's kind of not a huge difference, but I mean, I think it's weird on the weekends. The weekends go really long, I think, because there's not much to do. So I just try to, I take drives, I drive around, I go for walks, that kind of thing.
Perfect. Okay, we're going to take a break. A little bit later in the show, we're going to do show and tell. We'll introduce kind of what this concept is, and you'll be seeing these two a lot. In each time, we have been challenged with, show and telling, and we will reveal and explain a little bit later. Back in a moment, everyone. And welcome back. A little bit later in the show is right now. Jeff and Ted are still with us from their home. Jeff is actually, in fake New York. Ted, don't you love Jeff's background there?
Love it. So well traveled.
Before we get to show
you
and tell,
could go to IKEA as well.
I know. Before we get to show and tell, our new segment in our at-home editions, Jeff, I think we would be remiss to not acknowledge what Ted has on his television behind him. Mm-hmm. Ted, what are you watching?
That is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
What?
I just, wanted to throw on some Bravo, and that's what's on. And I just
Did you
froze
hear
it
that Bravo is rerunning? They're rerunning like classic seasons of their shows. Like they're redoing a New York season with like Scary Island and stuff.
They're gonna have to, and we'll get to that in future. Networks. Yeah. That'll be a topic for another show. Networks are gonna have to turn to their reruns, and I actually think it's not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. People want comfort. They want. I think. If they own the rights to some of their classic shows, they should do classic nights of programming. Mm-hmm. I would love to see like a Saturday night with the Golden Girls and 227 and Amen. But anyway, that's a whole other Sally Jesse.
Mary.
What?
Oh, Mary. That's my
Mary. Again, Ted's already lost. Okay, let's play show and tell. So what we decided to do was to turn lemons into lemon pound cake and make the most of the fact that we're doing the Jason Show from our houses, filled with stuff that maybe we've never seen from each other. So we're going to play a game of show and tell. We'll begin with the youngest, Ted, age before beauty. Ted, what's your show and tell item?
So I was kind of just rummaging through some old photos, and I've got this one, I believe, late high school, maybe. This was a trip to Germany, and on the last night I said, "Gentlemen, we're going out for tequila."
Ted, that doesn't even look like you.
No.
Oh,
he looks like a hoodlum.
He does look like a criminal on TMZ.
Nice little widow's peak.
I have a widow's peak.
No, you don't. It's gone.
I used to shave it in high school, but that's another show.
That's a whole other.
What do you think of my bar attire?
Questionable. Questionable. Yeah.
Mine's very similar to Ted's. My
Okay.
show and tell.
Jeff, age before beauty now.
Yeah, right. Okay, this is my senior class photo.
Oh no.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh! Oh my goodness! We can't hear you. You're blocking the mic with those patterns.
The shadow is incredible.
That is my saxophone.
Oh, something's happening with his mic, Ted. The pattern is so disruptive that it's stopping his audio.
You've got the shadow, you've got the pattern, you've got the saxophone.
Okay.
Kenny G.
Oh my goodness! His audio isn't even working, Ted.
All it said was Kenny G.
Was it really not working?
Yes, it was.
No, it's better.
Oh, the pattern was so weird on your shirt; it was disrupting your audio.
That was me 27 years ago.
You look like the Queen of Hearts love child. Okay. Now, mine is lame. I thought I wasn't going to do funny right away, but okay. It's lame now. This is one of the first things I ever got working at Channel 9, and that is the Lion King poster that opened in Minneapolis. It did previews in Minneapolis in 1997, and this is the cast. What?
Did you steal it?
I can neither confirm nor deny. No,
get Tom Lydon on this.
It's the whole cast there. No, I didn't steal it. I'm not a garden variety criminal. I'm not like that picture.
Just a regular
Ted.
criminal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not that. I'm not that. Look, now that's a criminal, and that's a criminal.
Jeff, try talking.
Fine.
Oh my goodness, it's not working. Ted, the photo scares the camera so much it blocks the microphone. Oh, I mean, is there a better way to end this segment? I do not think so. Guys, thank you. We will see you very shortly. Are you rapping? Oh, Ted, he's even rapping. He's rapping at home. Yes. Bye, guys. We're going to take a break. The Jason Show Home Edition continues right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Jason Show at Home Edition. I'm Jace, not live, but we're here in my actually podcast studio here in the North Loop. Well, speaking of the North Loop, it is known to be one, if not the hottest food spot in the Twin Cities. And right now, other than thinking about grocery workers and healthcare folks, another industry that's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so, is the restaurant industry. And here to talk about that, and basically just to find out how she's doing in quarantine, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's our foodie Fanny. It's Stephanie Hansen, everybody. Hi, Hansen.
Hi, friend. Hi, Jace. How you doing?
Well, good. I mean, I want to start with just saying, just asking, on a human-to-human level, how are you doing? How are you handling all this?
Okay, first of all, my roots are getting a little long and tired.
Well, I was going to say, can we acknowledge we are both? I'm like, I have never worn a hat on television ever. For years, I didn't think I looked good in hats because I have a giant physical head. So can we both acknowledge that we are representing, because, this is supposed to be twin season. So I'm wearing the twins, and look, our boss.
I'm wearing my University of Minnesota sweatshirt. My daughter's a student. I'm trying to support the state of Minnesota and Governor Walz. Woo,
That's
woo.
right. That's right. But okay, so back to how are you just on a human level? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I think we're 3 weeks out now. That first week was real rough. The restaurant industry was going through a crisis 10 times a day, literally. Information was changing. People were deciding, are they staying open? Are they closing? To move an entire restaurant operation to takeout is not as easy as it sounds. Just imagine first of all, you have to lay off your workers in a lot of cases because you know you're going to be closed indefinitely. And then just trying to get like the paper bags and all of that kind of infrastructure together. And then you're worried about safety. You're worried about
I want to get to the restaurants, but I was trying to be nice. I just want to know about you. I want to know how, look at you. You go right into, we are going to talk about the restaurants, you goof, but I want.
Okay. You want to know about me? I'm going to give you the real.
Yes, because we've been off the air. We've been doing reruns for about a month. And, you know, people want to know how you're doing. And Erin Schwab and Miss Shannon and Jeff and Ted.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
I'll give you the real honest answer.
That's why I'm so glad we're back on the air, because though we're a goofy light show, I want to have some real conversations. I want to take advantage of the moment we're living in. How you doing?
Week 1, I was a wreck. I am a pandemic prepared person. So I had things like masks and gloves and food and yeast and flour. I had already started preparing for that in early February. So from that standpoint, I felt like I had all the stuff I needed, but I was just devastated. It was scary. I was feeling very stressed out about my work, for my friends, for my family. I still have not seen my daughter other than 6 feet away more than a couple times. My husband was recovering from a respiratory illness earlier this winter. So that was weighing heavily on our minds. We were quarantined ourselves just to make sure we didn't, they said he had pneumonia, but we don't know what he had really. So today,
I'm Steph, how scary was that? I didn't even think about it. How scary was that with Kurt? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to get up into your business, but he had it as the pandemic exploded. Am I right on that?
Well, so we had traveled at the end of January, and on February 4th, he had gone to the hospital because he couldn't breathe. And they had diagnosed him with pneumonia, and they checked him into the hospital and given him a bunch of respiratory treatments. That he came home the next day and he was still working through those. And for about 7 weeks, he was on nebulizers, all these different inhalers, and really not able to breathe very well. And the only real explanation has ever been respiratory distress. I don't know. Did he encounter some viral thing along the way?
Did he have it? And it was,
that people talk about? Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I'm just dying. I want there to be a test so we could find out if he did, because then I would be feeling like I could see my 87-year-old mother-in-law. I could potentially see my kid. Right now, I'm just still so cautious because while he's doing a lot better, he still has asthma, and I think that's an immune compromised situation. Yeah. So I'm drinking a lot less, Jane. Jane.
Did you just call me Jane?
I meant to say Jason. It just came out a month ago.
Wow, you're drinking less, and then you call me Jane. Okay, you're really making your case there, Hanson.
No, like in the beginning, I just was like drinking wine and 6 o'clock cocktail Zooms with everyone. And finally I realized like, wow, I think I've drank 9 nights in a row. Now for me, I go out a lot, so it's not unusual to have wine with dinner, but 9 nights in a row was feeling a little extreme. So I have moderated myself. I've actually lost a little weight. I've started running again. So health-wise, personally, I think I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to deal with the mental effects of what it's like to be in your house for 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, now I want to get, Hanson, we can talk about restaurants. Hanson and I are both, Hanson's very, very connected, as is our friend Stephanie March. They do, obviously, the weekly dish. As we sit here a month and a couple weeks in, what are you hearing from the restaurant industry folks? How can people help, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think that in general, we're sort of in a holding pattern. So people that felt like they needed to close right away did. People that felt like they could pivot have. There are some people that were closed early on, like Ola Arepa and Hi Hi, that closed early on and have now opened up. one thing that I've seen that's been kind of surprising is how fast these restaurants and family farms too, and farms have become like pantries. So some of these restaurants are carrying their producers like duck, like Meritage, for instance, is selling duck curbside pickup. Red Cow is doing cocktail kits, and they're doing these burger cook at home kits for take and make.
We're gonna have Josh Toma from Smack Shack on soon. Josh is doing, like Red Cow, cooking classes. They sell the kit. Josh does a cooking class that everyone can watch. Yep. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant, and it's a surprising space for the restaurants to fill. But if you've talked to any, like, I don't want to say just moms, but moms and dads that are responsible for meals with kids at home right now, they're going crazy. They're not used to cooking, 3 meals a day, and their repertoire is dry. They're trying to cook with different pantry items that they have in their house. So the idea that they can pick up some prepared meals is really appealing to them.
Yeah. Okay, so people can do that. Are you saying, I think what I'm hearing you say is, when you said you're surprised, because I am too, in a great way, I think always trying to see the positive. I have been motivated. I have been inspired by the innovation and the kick buttness of the Twin Cities restaurant scene. Am I hearing you right? Is that what you're saying?
It's been phenomenal, both from the restaurateurs to the farmers to the delivery drivers, to how fast people have modified this technology, to using an example of someone that, you used to be able to order your burgers and your fries and your cheese curds. Well, now you can add your cocktail kit, or you can add a pound of potatoes because they happen to have that in their storeroom, or you can buy 4 steaks. Like, it's just really incredible how the restaurants are also incorporating some of their farm partners. And it's fascinating. Another great story is Sims from Doomtree. His wife is a partner in Muddy Waters Cafe, and they have like built this thing that's sort of like a takeout window that goes over the front door. Yeah. And you can repurpose it when this is over to work as a trade show booth, or to do an outside like pickup stand. They're just really clever about ways that they're trying to keep everybody safe. And honestly, I don't know any other industry that could be this nimble and act this fast. These restaurant people are creatives. They're like artists, right? And their just livelihood is at stake. So they're figuring out, some people are giving you a mask with your order. Like, I just really think it's been super cool. And that's been the silver lining.
Yeah. Well, come back. I mean, we're out of time already, but Steph will be back. We have so much more to talk about. Thank you for getting dressed up today, as did I. We both dressed up in our sweatshirts to know. Yeah, I know, but we're purposely representing, because we should be at a Twins game right now, right, Steph?
Hey, Jace, I just want to say welcome back for everybody. You've been very missed. It's not been the same. I've been getting you on the radio, but it's good to see your face. I want to see your hair. Have you had a haircut?
Stephanie Hansen, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Steph. That's right. Steph will be back very, very soon, and we will be back to wrap things up right after this. Welcome back, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say Kendall is doing great. She will be joining us very, very soon. She is busy helping out the Fox 9 news crew, but she is doing great. I texted her. I text her all the time, funny memes and stuff. She is doing fantastic, and she'll be joining us very, very soon on the show. I get a lot of questions. I miss her too. Look, here's the deal. I miss everyone from the Jason Show. And as the weeks go ahead, as the weeks move on, you're going to see more and more of your friends. We're going to have the Cooking Mom coming up. We are going to get Yam House to do a concert. I'm telling you, I'm bound and determined. Our friend Ann Kim from Young Joni we have coming up as well. The Cooking Mom, Psychic Maria Shaw will all be joining us via this new reality. This is the reality. I wish you could see it. This is our control room right here. The whole Jason Show that you just watched, all done from basically this room in here. It's just amazing, and thanks to our crew back at the station or remotely, our photographer Eric, editor Rob, producer Ted, executive producer Jeff, Kendall, everyone that's helping to turn lemons into lemon pound cake and bring the Jason Show back. Again, we'll be doing brand new shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays for this foreseeable future, with best of shows on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. And speaking of new shows, coming up on Thursday, talk about someone that knows how to live in isolation. McCrae, our buddy McCrae from Big Brother, will join us, and I hope you will too. Right now, stay safe, everybody. And as I say, in good times and bad, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong.